Hey everyone, I am Anthony Scott of ToyHypeUSA.com. Today we are reviewing the Rhino Alien figure from NECA Toys. I would like to thank NECA for providing him for review, greatly appreciated. The figure is inspired from the 1994 Kenner figure, which was part of the vintage line. So if you're familiar with the line, you'll basically remember all of these variant xenomorphs that they offered, inspired from the comic book usually. The Rhino Alien was among them. This is the second version that NECA has offered, as they previously offered one last year. This is a repaint, so we're going to take a look and compare the two versions later on in the video. The packaging is the standard window box, and what I really love about this packaging is that the front cover, it has a really nice throwback to the old Kenner packaging, which was a blister card. So on the front, you see the Rhino Alien, which is right here, and you see these lines indicating the bubble plastic tray, which was part of the packaging for the '94 figure from Kenner. You also see beautifully done artwork of a xenomorph up there. You see the Aliens logo right there. Top of the packaging, you have the Aliens logo. Side of the packaging, you have another image of the xenomorph along with the logos, and the other side is identical. The back of the packaging gives you a look at other figures that are in the line, all of which are inspired from Kenner figures, all of which NECA has been updated to today's action figure style. So you're getting that high-end detail, paint applications, everything. All these figures were part of Kenner's original line, so you're probably very familiar with what they've been doing with this. The top right gives you a brief description, which is right there. And here's a closer look at all those other figures that I just mentioned. The bottom of the packaging gives you all the names of all the great people at NECA Toys responsible for bringing this figure together. Here's a look at inside the window box. The left side is the opening flap, giving you a look at the Rhino Alien. And on the right, the Rhino Alien is shown inside his plastic tray for safekeeping. So what I'm going to do now is open this up and let's take a closer look. Here is your in-hand look at the Rhino Alien. As you can see, the paintwork on him is just phenomenal. He's done in this light metallic blue with some black on there, and there's also a little bit of purple, depending on where it is on the sculpt, such as the side, which you see right here, as well as the back. Getting him to stand on these two hind legs is not the easiest thing, so just be aware of that when you decide to pose him. He's probably going to need some kind of doll stand to lean on. Bringing him up closer to the camera. Here's a look at his head sculpt. You see all that great attention to detail there. The dome on top of his head is removable, just as you've seen from the previous figure offering. The jaw opens and closes, and you have that tongue inside that comes out. We'll take a closer look at that. But right now, I just want to bring them up closer to the camera, really giving you guys a look at them. You see all that great detail on them. Even on the legs here. When I first saw this, I saw faces. This almost looks like a mouth. These look like eyes on the side. But it's just the way that this is sculpted and painted. These aren't actual faces. So that's what I'm talking about by faces. You could probably see it too. let's take a look at the back. The back of him is mostly in black, but there is some metallic deco back there, which you can see. There's just so much sculpted detail going on. Here's a closer look. You see this little tail he's got going on back here. Here's a look at the legs. So just like, that fell off, the other figure, the legs are fully extended. And to get him to stand this tall, you're definitely going to need a doll stand, as he will not stand up like this, as the top part is top heavy, meaning that it's heavy up here and he will fall over. So just be aware of that. And here's a look at the tongue while it's sticking out. For your reference, here's a look at him fully extended. I had to lean him so he would stand up straight. But I wanted to show you guys with the legs fully extended. This way you get a good idea what it looks like. Here's a closer look at the Rhino Alien. Again, he's inspired from the vintage Kenner line from 1994. This was a different painted version. Last year's edition I have over here. We're going to do a comparison, but I want to give you guys a really good look at this one. You see the horn right there in top of his head. The dome, very easy to remove. In fact, it falls off most of the time. It doesn't snap in place or anything. It just rests on top of his head like that. So when I say rest, you can wiggle it around as shown. The paint apps on him are just so phenomenally done. Very excited to see. They did a terrific job on him. You see all those great attention to details, the sculpting, everything. Here's a better look at his tail that I mentioned before. Getting his two legs in a perfect pose is actually kind of hard, considering how the way he was sculpted and everything. I just find it best to have him rest on the ground like that. While the two hands, these are much easier to keep flat on the ground. And I showed you guys the chest and everything when he was standing, but here's a closer look at that. Great sculpted detail and everything. Paint apps are really, really phenomenal. And as I showed you before, the mouth opens, tongue pops out, and he's ready to attack his prey. So here's your look there. This works just like pretty much every other Xenomorph figure in the entire line. You could just push that back in and close the jaw like that. Here's a comparison between both figures. The one on the right is the new release for 2020, while the one on the left is last year's previous offering. As you can see, there's a significant difference between the deco on both figures. The new bright deco makes him look like a completely different character. The sculpt on both these figures are also the same, and between the two, the domes are also removable. So there's a look at the difference between the domes. And again, these just rest on there. Turning these guys to the side, I want to give you guys a really good look. You see all those differences between the sculpt, as well as where it's the same. So there's your look there. Turning him to the side. Here's your look. And let's take a look at the back. Since it's the same, you're going to have that issue with the back of the legs between the both figures. The feet back here don't stay flat to the floor, so it's going to look something like this in this position. Here's a closer look at the horns. You see where the new paint apps make the parts stand out more. It's a lot harder to tell all that great sculpting here, as a lot of this is cast in black. However, the new release, they painted places like the arms and the legs and the hips and everything, so all those sculpted details are definitely going to pop. Also on his back, you see that there's a significance different back there. This is all cast in orange plastic, while this is black back here. So you're also going to see all those sculpted details and everything, especially in here. And again, it's going to pop more on this release. Opening the jaw so we can take a look at the tongue. All right, so there's a look at his tongue. It's in a dark color, and his tongue here, it's painted, so the tongue is gonna pop more. Overall, these are phenomenal updates to the classic Kenner line. I'm loving what I'm seeing with NECA right now. My recommendation is go out and buy them while these are still available. These are beautifully done figures, and if you had the Kenner figures, and if you still do, these are phenomenal updates. So again, go out and buy them, enjoy them, add them to your collection. I promise you'll love them. Big shout out and thank you to NECA Toys for providing these both these figures for review. They provided him last year, and this one was just arrived. So again, thank you, NECA. I am Anthony Scott of ToyHypeUSA.com. Thank you so much for watching. Please check out the written portion and photo gallery of this review. Happy Monster Monday, everyone, and stay tuned for more coverage.